And on the Friday edition of the show, we have a new one. It's called Family on the Rise. And this morning on Family on the Rise, we would be discussing gender role century marriage. My guest is one who understands it, knows it very well. She is a relationship expert and holistic therapist. So joining us this morning via phone, her name is Naomi Shaibu Demide. Joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you joining us this morning. Well, if you want to be a part of the program, let's quickly give you the numbers so that when we open up the phone lines, you can easily just join in with us. The numbers to call would be 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You can call and also send SMS or WhatsApp messages to 090-9705-445. On the show like this in this new year. So good to have you. Happy New Year to you. All right, let's get this started by talking about what has been referred to as traditional gender roles and how they affect marriage and relationship in the 21st century. Marriages these days are failing left, right, and center. A lot of young people, even older people, are getting to the point where they feel, look, I just think we've been in this marriage for too long and we've just been enduring each other, and I think it's time for us to walk away. You have people in their 50s and 60s just waking up one morning to say, you know what, place of gender roles in marriage and how has that evolved over time that has led to what we experience these days?
So I must say, first of all, real marriage and so much going on. Once you just go on social media, you're seeing like a dozen marriages are failing and all of that. So I'm not surprised, I must say, in a moment of awakening where people are beginning to embrace their authenticity, their authentic selves, and they are not being put in a box or being put in a bottle as society or tradition has coined or prepared them to be. So people, men or women, should behave humble, to be soft-spoken, and all of that, while men are expected to be domineering, to be assertive, to be aggressive to some extent, to take up that front burner, that front row, that front seat when it comes to everything, whether family, work, societal demands, whatever it is. Yeah. So that basically is gender roles. It just fits you into a corner. Okay, you are a female. Okay, fall into this box. You are a male. Oh, good, fall into this box. Forgetting that people have both feminine and masculine energy, whether we are male or we are female. So people coming to discover that this is who I am. I have this energy, and I have this nurturing side. Despite the fact that I'm a man. It's making marriage kind of shaky. I don't want to say imbalanced. It's making marriage kind of shaky. So basically, that's what gender role does in marriage. So you find women taking care of kids, and you find men going out to hustle, going out to work to ensure that their families are provided for, to ensure that there's food on the table. But in recent times today, we're finding that we have families where we have stay-at-home dads, and we have women who work, who are breadwinners. And I think...
Interesting. Now, so what does personality have to do with this? Because some people naturally would not want to switch roles like this, like those traditional roles. Even though some of these roles are evolving, and like you mentioned, some people would not want to switch these roles irrespective of what it is, because of what society would say and because of, conformity with society. You just mentioned that these days we have sit-at-home dads while their women or their wives go out to work and earn. What kind of awareness to sacrifice to
go through premarital counseling with intending couples? I go as far as personality mapping for them. So you know who you are, you know your strengths. You don't just go into marriage and begin to discover yourself, because I've noticed over the years, people get into marriage, people discover themselves in marriage, and they find out that I made a wrong decision. Hey, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be in the boardroom. I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm supposed to be performing surgery. I'm not supposed to be in the kitchen 24/7. Yeah. So as a relationship expert, rules when it comes to marriage, and that's what I help couples to fix before they take their walk down the aisle. Now, when it comes to personalities as individuals, you are a male, I'm a female. Despite the fact that you are male, you have feminine traits. You'll see a kid now, you see a child, and you'll be like, oh, so cute, energy, responding to nurturing. Okay, and then I'm sure you have a couple of female friends, most likely. They are always on the adrenaline rush. Yeah, those ones have more male. So society makes us just as it looks at. We need to look beyond the outside. We need to look beyond the container and see the personality for the resonate.
Now, before we talk about how important premarital counseling is, let's talk about the new world order trying to create an system. You say that a person, like you just described a scenario where a man is more inclined to his feminine side and a woman is more inclined to her masculine side. Would you say that if two people, feminine man or has this level of masculinity, would you say that they would make a good match, or would you outrightly tell them in a counseling session, you guys would not work?
Okay. There's something called balance, and the universe has it down so much. The relationship is hanging on one side. It's not balanced. So the universe hangs on balance. Whether you're in your feminine or your masculine role, you have groomed males to become too masculine that they even forget that they have feminine sides. I remember a relative not touching his kids because he just feels that he would squeeze them and they will suffocate. They're too fragile. Yeah, he was raised that way, not to touch children, not to hug children, not to be cuddly. All right, and the same thing he does to his wife. He doesn't really show that emotion because he's a man. He doesn't really show that emotion because he's a man. And somebody yesterday was telling me men don't cry. I am like, why don't men cry? Then maybe we cry in our private area, in our private corner, but men shouldn't.
It's because they've never seen way.
Emotions, their emotions most. And a lot of women who are being raised in toxic environments today are taking advantage of that because they know that the men will not speak up, they will not talk, they will just provide. So marriage is breaking down as a result of this.
Let's take you further into this. Now, how has this been no family bonding time? He just believes, I'm the king here. I'm the boss. I shouldn't be, I shouldn't be seen to be weak or playing around with any of you, How has that affected families and the situations where the woman also feels, look, I'm too busy to be here. I've got a job to do and all of that. How is this in your practice over time? You've been doing this for how long again?
I've been doing this for over a decade.
Over a decade. Now, in your practice, in this period, what roles have this issues caused in marriage, and how has it really affected marriages that you've counseled over time?
The marriages have broken down even before they started. They are just heroes. So that was once there the moment the relationship began. So heroes, you're just actors, right? So for extreme masculine men, there are two people that are going to be affected. The first is your spouse, because that person is in the direct heat, is in the direct line of attack. That person will keep having to work extra hard to find the balance in the home, to nurture, to be there for the kids, to touch them, to make them feel wanted. The second people that are going to be affected are your children. The children will feel, oh, Daddy doesn't care, Daddy is absent, he's present but he's absent, And many times, over the years in counseling, I've come to realize that we repeat patterns. patterns are repetitive. Remember something I said about reading personalities. I do pattern reading, or extreme masculine male. There's a tendency to be drawn to a man that is like him. Okay, so you need to know that or understand. That's where the place of education comes. Marital education. Get educated about their personality before they venture into whether profession or marriage. When you know and understand that every person has two sides, like a coin, feminine and masculine, that there is an imbalance in the family you grew, and then you begin to look for ways that you can correct it so that you do not attract somebody like the toxic partner that your parent was married to. All right. So when it comes to set of extreme head of the home, isn't giving that, the female cannot cover that role. Know when to stop being extreme and know when to embrace.
Have better relationships and better marriages and all. So you mentioned something about love lost in families, and situations where people no longer feel the flame or no longer feel the fire that they felt when they maybe first met or started the relationship. Can you share a few tips as to how marriages or relationships that have lost the flame can actually rekindle this flame? I know that most of the time we always talk about go to therapy and talk to a counselor and all of that, but you might be magnanimous enough to just share a few tips as to how people can rekindle the flames that may have been burning out in their families.
Good morning. There's more to communication than just asking the question. But if you as a partner or as a spouse is just asking the basic questions about your partner's welfare or partner's well-being, you are not communicating. A couple came to me and the guy said, I asked how she has eaten, if she wants to make her hair, to ask the right questions to get the right answers. We are asking the wrong questions, and we are meeting a stonewall response. And the other is giving us just flat answer. How are you? Fine. That's the random movie. That's intimate moments. We are sitting down and we are enjoying maybe a drink together, or we are chit-chatting about how the day went, all of that. That's still part of intimacy. It's not until you go into your marriage healthy. It's not just about going to the doctor and check your body and going for scans and seeing if you're fine. No, you have to also scan your relationship, scan your marriage, and see if it is healthy as well. Then we also want to discuss about parenting. What are we doing together as parents? Are they let go of or adopt to make our relationship work? Trust me, it is for companionship and secondary. Now you've already come time together, get to know yourselves better, and then come back refreshed. Another thing is taking personal time off. Most couples, especially men, they travel for business trips and all of that and come back a bit refreshed. But women are cooking, they're thinking, they're doing homework, they're changing diapers all around the clock. So the downside of that is that we experience a lot of burnout. We experience a lot
to the baby. The man feels neglected. Help and assist. Well, how can you encourage men to be more, available? Before we get to family patterns, something you mentioned about family patterns that I want to take us, that seems to create some tension in the family.
Right. So, as men, we women or we females want you to be involved in everything that has to do with us. We can be very emotional about it too, and we can sometimes be quite extreme. Yeah. We would appreciate if men out there would, first of all, understand the purpose of why they got married. A lot of people lose sight of the purpose of marriage, so I would encourage men to hold on to that purpose, that picture of why you got married, and also we all say change is inevitable, yeah. as much as change is inevitable, how much have you as an individual, as a husband, changed? That's a question men need to answer. Am I still like my traditional grandfather? Or am I me right now in 21st century? So check within yourself. Have constant checks within yourself. Asking yourself real questions, the right questions that pertain to 21st century roles and your role as a husband and your role as a father. So you also want to understand, what is my role as a husband and what is my role as a father. Then have a time frame to which you could say, oh, I'm a father at this time. Then you switch, I'm a husband at this time. But many times, rather than being partners or lovers to their wives, and that is wrong, and she feels like she's a child. She feels belittled. So it's important for men to also look within themselves and bring out that feminine side. Once in a while, maybe a weekend, maybe a Sunday, maybe a Friday, you could say, okay, you know what, guys, leave the cooking to me. That is in the kitchen today. That would do a lot of wonders. Like, I put her feet up on a couch and just relax in the kitchen. Beautiful. Once in a while, look at how she's changing the diaper of the baby and offer to help. Oh, let me help you change the diaper. Even if you are doing it wrong, just start. Men are often scared of making mistakes, but if we do not make mistakes, there is no way we can learn. So embrace the change, embrace the failing forward, because from failing you learn. Embrace that, and then
and how that can actually be, you know, a source of concern or cause troubles in today's marriages. Some of us do not pay attention to what has happened in the past, and those things come us in our present life. Someone, so for instance, let's say someone who had maybe an absentee father or mother, who had one parent unavailable. Do you think that this can affect?
Yes, affect an individual in future. Has, in fact, it is not say, we can't say against alcohol. Another one may drink to stupor, and another one may just say, right? So it's the same way in every family. When families or something, the presence of that person greatly affects the children, because the space of that person cannot be filled. It's not filled, it's vacant. And I always advise most single mothers, I tell them, I said, as much as you try, you cannot be the man. You need to bring your children into a space where they have that masculine presence to show them how males should behave, and have that masculine energy for your females, so that they know how to be treated and how to be loved. And she's someone that has become so masculine and so hardened, and all she wants is just to make money and travel the world, and it's affecting her relationships greatly because she wants to be in control. She wants to control everything. And I asked her, I said, tell me about your mother. And she began telling me how her mother was so hard on her, told her how she had to survive, how she has to get good grades, how she has to allow herself become the best, how she shouldn't allow anybody override her, including in relationship. And I was like, wow, okay, now we see where the problem is, pattern. So if we look deep within ourselves, if you have to come from pattern mapping or family pattern mapping, you realize that most of the things you do, the reason why you act the way you do is because something happened in your family that is affecting you subconsciously, and you don't even know you're acting in that unconscious action. So it's important for people to look back so that they can move forward. It's important to look at your family tree, look at your family history, look at your family behavior, so that you can fix yourself, fix your marriage, fix your relationship, and do better.
All right, so we've been talking with Naomi, and she is a certified relationship and marriage coach, a certified mental health therapist as well, joining us in this conversation. Pretty interesting it's been. You can join the conversation now. Let's get your thoughts and inputs in the conversation. Feel free to dial 09073530044 and 09087668888. You can send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 09097054450. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Clement Zion Prince. Good to have you.
Thank you. I listen keenly to get on radio, and I have to take away from her. But I want to make a little contribution before asking her questions.
Okay.
God built relationship, the wife for some time, and not get bound, no matter what's beautiful. I want to believe that the brain of intimacy and good relationship in any marriage or relationship is love and implications. I want to ask her, does she have any spiritual formula for restoring intimacy in relationship destroyed by extra-marital affairs?
Can you take that again? Spiritual formula for what?
Does she have any formula for healing relationships destroyed by extra-marital affairs? Because when the woman says, I'm too busy for my husband, if have any formula for healing relationships that are destroyed by extra-marital relationships.
All right. 09073530044.
Yes, good morning, my prince.
Good morning.
This is Felix from Lambata.
So Felix, I'm glad you're here.
Greet your guest and greet all the listeners and callers. Yes, she's really educated for this morning. And I think if we apply what she has said, our families should be better than what it is. Because the rate at which families are breaking down is becoming very alarming. There is only one or two things I will add to what she has said, my prince. And as a die-hard Christian, a committed Christian, I believe in the... So what does these issues play in our modern relationship is what I want to know, my prince. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I guess she got that question. Naomi, how to actually heal and recover, or couples actually heal and recover from extramarital affairs, especially when, when people, issues of infidelity, can people come back from this and heal completely or wholly so that their relationship can thrive again?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a choice. You choose whether you have capacity to heal, right? You choose whether you want this to work. And when I say you, I'm talking about both sides, because a lot of times people come to me for relationship counseling, go back and try to be both of you coming to a point of realization that I have made this mistake and I am ready to fix it. And the other partner who was hurt or who was betrayed should be willing to support, despite the fact that he or she is hurting, should be willing to support the erring partner to find healing and mend the relationship. On the other hand, many times, like I said, a marriage could be broken even before it starts. So couples are just acting roles. They're just, sometimes after an analysis of that were used to create infidelity is what we're looking at here. Were you absent? Were you negligent towards your partner? What made or warranted that partner to get involved in infidelity is the problem, not infidelity. A lot of people make noise about infidelity. Infidelity is not the problem. It's the cause of infidelity we should be looking at. And many times it takes two to make a baby. So what role have you, as the partner who is claiming my partner was unfaithful, cheated on me and all that? You have a role that you played in ensuring that person went out and was unfaithful. You also could probably not have a hand in it. Maybe your erring partner is someone who is just flirtatious. The person just has that thing for other people. That thing for other people. Cannot just keep themselves together. Can't just zip up. Yeah. So we want to look at all of that, not just the infidelity alone. We want to look at the root cause of infidelity. So yes and no is my answer.
It is these traditional roles, and people falling from the guarding as regards. I can't get it now. It can't seem to play. Question. I'll bring in some more callers, and then we'll wrap it up shortly. I have a couple of messages here that I should read to you as well. 09073530044 and 0908. Okay.
Why is it this Christian home? Why is it be like that? They say this person is a Christian. The father will happy to give you his daughter to you. But after the father gives the daughter to you, before you know this one, where they marry, their marriage go still start today. But why today? Your home will still break. Our marriage home no they start now. Now the question what I want to ask is that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling. Hello. Good morning.
Yes, my twins.
Your question now.
One, that means she must have approval to some technology. We have technology that are doing that for us. What role does this one play in the marriage, in the modern marriage?
Okay. Felix, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's get back to Felix. Name me if you don't mind. It's quoted in the Bible and say that the desire of the woman shall be to her husband. I don't think that's the appropriate, what do you call it? What's the word now? Interpretation of that scripture. Yeah. But anyway, it means that the woman should seek her husband's what do you call it?
Approval.
Yes, approval for everything. And then also is asking why women are avoiding labor pains. I don't know. It feels like labor should be something that they should enjoy.
Okay, I want to say that Mr. Felix is a traditional man. I can see that. The Bible in that context, talking about the woman must seek approval, in his understanding of that part of scripture says she must seek approval for anything she wants to do. Yeah? What the Bible means that she has eyes for only him.
Exactly.
She thinks about him more than she thinks about other things. At the beginning of this session, we discussed about wedding vows. And I said many people don't read their vows because they don't understand it. Marriage is primarily for companionship. And secondarily, she must seek approval before she does anything. It's absolutely wrong. That's not what the Bible is saying. You are quoting your scripture, misunderstanding your scriptures. We want to take the story of Abigail and her husband. Her husband was called a fool, meaning that's Nabal. Nabal was a fool. He couldn't do anything right. So if she went to Nabal at that point where her family was about to be slaughtered by David, and she said, "Oh, okay, let me seek his approval before I do this." Trust me, her family would have been wiped out today. So there are certain times that a woman takes the lead with the approval of the husband. There are certain she has to make decisions without the approval of her. Two have become one. It is only right that you do what is right. If she feels within her capacity, she has assessed herself and she knows that, look, I cannot go through natural delivery. She can decide by herself to opt for surgery twice. When women are pregnant, we are highly sensitive. That's why you hear a pregnant woman saying, I dreamt, I saw, I can hear clearly, I can hear voices, you can ask a lot, a dozen pregnant women, they will tell you that they feel things, they sense things. You are having another life coming. You are close to your creator, even more than the man. Let me put it that way. Okay? And if she feel? For me, let me use myself as an example. When I was pregnant with my second daughter, I had a dream that if I had natural birth, I was going to die. I had it again and again and again. So when I was in the hospital and I was about to have the baby, I told the doctor, I said, "Doctor, look, do a surgery for me." I told the doctor, "Do a surgery for me." And I was in labor for over 15 hours and the baby was not coming. And I had to tell the doctor again, "See, I told you, do a surgery for me. I cannot give birth to this baby naturally." And the doctor was looking at me, I was telling me it's against their professional ethics and all that. When the doctor saw I was about to give up, she ran to my husband and started saying, "Your wife said this." And he confirmed and said, yes, she actually saw that she could not give birth even before the baby she couldn't give birth herself. So I had to give birth through surgery. So couples need to understand with each other, bear with each other, communicate them.
Okay. Baby Blessing asked earlier, why is it that many Christian homes are falling apart and breaking apart these days? In 1 minute or less than that, we're running out of time. Our clock is really in the ceiling and we have messages. In a minute, can you provide an answer to that?
Okay. First of all, marriages are breaking because people do not know themselves. Socrates said, "To thyself be true." Okay, you need to be true to yourself. Know who you are, know what you want, know what you're going for. A lot of times, parents say they do background checks for the person they are getting their daughter married to or their son married to. They don't do. All they do is just ask questions. Where is he from? And do they have mental problem in their family? Is he a Christian? Is he a Muslim? And that's it. That's not background check. You need to know personality of the family. You need to go deeper than that. And a lot of people are just asking, is he a Christian? Is he a Muslim? That is religion you are playing. You're not praying spirituality. I always tell people I'm a spiritual person, I'm not a religion. So let's stop saying people who get married and are Christians or are Muslims are breaking up. No, it has nothing to do with religion. It is a personal thing. It's more personal than it's church-oriented or mosque-oriented.
Well said. Another quick one. Joseph from Kado says, women always act insatiable. How should a man handle this?
Women always act what?
Insatiable, like the desires are never really met. How can a man handle that?
Okay, so it looks that way because women are emotional beings. We need to understand. I think a lot of men need to do a lot of education regarding knowing men. We're emotional beings and we are hormonal, highly hormonal in nature. So when we are crying, we're happy. When we are shouting, we are sad. It's really open. Do your own findings, do your own research, and observe the person you're married to. No, women are not the same. Yes, we have a baseline for how we all behave, but we are different. We are distinctly different. So study the person you are with and understand them, communicate with them, research on them, and work on whatever you have that works for them and works for you as well.
Okay. AK has to say sorry or does not admit wrongdoing. That's quite a difficult one. Just how do you respond?
How
do you cope with a partner that does not know how to say sorry or does not admit wrongdoing?
Okay, so when it comes to a partner who does not admit or does not know how to say sorry, it comes from their background, definitely. Something has happened or they grew up seeing their parents not apologizing, and it's a typical African thing. Parents don't apologize. Either they'll mock their way into your heart through gifts, how to apologize. I was that way once upon a time in the early times when I was married, and I was never